Michaela! Where are you? Reply immediately. Oh, I bet you're lazing around the house doing nothing as usual. Hurry up and get over here and do the housework. You can begin with cleaning the toilet and bathtub that you were supposed to do yesterday. Come on, chop chop, get moving! Oh, that reminds me. There are some weeds left over in the garden. Make sure you pull them up. We can't have the delightful view of my garden ruined by overgrowing weeds. Then there's the shopping and preparations for tonight's supper. Pronto, hurry up and get moving! Please, will you give me a break? I'm heavily pregnant, you know. The baby's due this month, for crying out loud. It's not as easy for me to move around as you seem to think. Besides, I just took you out in the car while you went clothes shopping like you asked me to. Oh, please. That was just a quick shopping trip. Don't over-exaggerate. You're not getting off the hook that easily. To tell you the truth, Harold told me it's dangerous to drive when you're this heavily pregnant and asked me not to. Please, will you just give me a break? Even if not for me, think of my baby. Good grief, Michaela. Why should you get to live life on easy mode? Why did you even move in with my son if this is your attitude? Why did I move in? What? If you're even remotely grateful for us being so kind as to welcome an orphan like you into our family, surely you can tolerate doing things you don't want to help out sometimes. I don't see what my parents have to do with anything. Oh, be quiet. You're lucky there's a lock on your door. If I could get in, I'd come over and drag you over here myself and force you to carry out your duties to this family as my son's wife, without having to rely on these tedious, God-forsaken messages. Oh my God. Do you get the message? Get your ass over here now! Stop! Wait! Please don't bang on the door like that! Well, get the hell out and clean my house then, quickly! I'll kick the door down if you don't get out here now! Seriously, stop it, please! Sis, are you there? Huh, Michaela? I'm at work right now, so I can't speak on the phone. What's up? Help! What's wrong? Even though I'm heavily pregnant, my mother-in-law does nothing but make unreasonable demands of me all the time. She forces me to drive her places and makes me go over to her place to do physically demanding housework. What the heck? I did as much as I could, but I've reached my limit. I can't take it anymore. You mean she's bullying her son's heavily pregnant wife? I've never thought of it like that. But she just demanded I go over and do her housework, then came over and started banging on the door like a maniac when I didn't immediately do as she said. She threatened to kick the door down if I didn't go out. She seems to have calmed down for now. I think her favorite TV show came on. I'm scared of what's going to happen once it ends, though. I have a feeling she's going to come over again. I'm really scared. This is awful. Your mother-in-law sounds unhinged, like actually dangerous. Have you told Harold about this? Well, I have. But she knows when I'll be home alone, and only ever does this when he's not here. I see. Oh, that reminds me. Harold's away on a business trip right now, right? Yeah, he'll be back the day after tomorrow. I know we have a lovely two-family home here, and I consider myself lucky for that. But things are so tough with my mother-in-law next door. I can't go on like this. I understand. Can you hold out for another hour? I think so. I think his mom will be watching her TV show for a little while. Can you get all of your important things together before I get there? I'm about to leave now. But you're at work. Don't worry, they're flexible enough here to let me go and pick up my sister in her hour of need. Everything's fine on my end, so please think about keeping yourself and that baby in your belly safe, okay? Okay. Thank you so much, sis.
Michaela! I heard from your sister. I'm so sorry. Are you okay?
Yeah, somehow or other she kicked up a bit of a fuss when I left the house, but I was safe because my sister was there to protect me.
I see. The most important thing is that you're safe. Your sister recorded my mom's hysteric when she realized you were leaving the house.
Oh, she did?
My mom called you every name under the sun. I've never seen anything like it. Is that what she's like all the time?
Yes. I put up with it for a long time because she's your mom. And I didn't want you to think I was disrespecting her. Plus, even if I told you, I didn't know where I'd begin. But since we are where we are, I'm gonna show you the messages she's been sending me.
Okay, it can't be avoided. I have to know. I'm so sorry for everything you've been through, Michaela.
It's okay. Thank you for understanding. Oh, by the way, I'm staying at my sister's apartment right now.
Yeah, I heard. I'm getting ready to come home myself now, too. Your sister pulled a few strings and saw to it that I'd be allowed to come back from the business trip early. I plan on showing my face there later on today. But I've been thinking about doing a little something.
What's that?
I'll fill you in on the details when I see you later.
Got it. I'll be waiting. Thank you, Harold.
Oh, but if you're tired, you don't have to wait for me to get back. By all means, get some sleep. We can always discuss it tomorrow morning.
Okay. Thank you for looking out for me.
Mom, can I speak to you for a minute?
Oh, Harold. You messaged at the perfect time. Your old mother's having a really rough time of it. Michaela left the house.
Huh?
Her sister turned up out of the blue. I don't know what kind of lies Michaela's been filling her head with, but she called me every name under the sun. She drove off with Michaela and all her luggage. I don't know what's going on. What on earth could have caused all this?
When you say she called you every name under the sun, what do you mean? What exactly did they say to you?
Well, things like, I'm pregnant, so you're the one who should be doing the housework. Or, I don't even know why I bothered moving in with you in the first place. Oh my, even just thinking about it makes your old mother want to cry.
Interesting.
Since we've come this far, I'll just come out with it. I want you to know, I've always done my best not to interfere in yours and Michaela's relationship. But Michaela's victim complex is just too severe. Or she's too stubborn, or she's malicious. I'm not sure how best to describe it. I can't help but wonder if this is what they call mother-in-law bullying. Or maybe she thinks she should be treated like a princess because she's pregnant. Look, Harold, I really hate speaking ill of your wife like this, and I didn't want to say anything at all. But if Michaela doesn't reevaluate her attitude and ways of thinking, we're all going to struggle an awful lot from here on out.
So, Mom, are you done making excuses now?
Excuses?
I know that the reason Michaela left the house was because of the messages you were sending her.
Oh, really? Did you know she was staying with her sister, too?
Of course. Listen, Mom, I need you to remember that Michaela is heavily pregnant.
Of course I do. Your baby is always at the forefront of my mind, son.
That's all I've got to say. Bye.
Okay, you'll be home from business the day after tomorrow, is that right? I'm going to speak to Michaela and convince her to come home before you do. So please don't worry about any of this. Michaela? What the hell do you think you're playing at?
Oh, hi.
Not hi. I heard about how those people who came barging into our house were your relatives. Just because you wanted to move out doesn't mean you had any right to take my belongings with you. What on earth were you thinking? I'll be telling Harold about this. He'll divorce you. Divorce, I say!
Mom?
Harold! Good timing. Listen, son, just listen to this. Michaela's trying to make me leave the house. She called a small army of her relatives over, and they're currently carrying out all of my things and dumping them on the street as we speak. Oh, surely this is unacceptable. If anyone should be moving out, it's Michaela, for heaven's sake.
Michaela should be moving out?
Yes, of course. You're the one who built this house, after all, Harold. If she doesn't want me, your mother, living next door, then she's the one who should be leaving. Don't you think so? Lord, give me strength. This is probably why she has no parents.
Mom, it's true that Michaela doesn't know her parents, but it's not like it's because that's what she wanted. Besides, she has a big sister who's been like a mother to her since she was little, and she's loved dearly by all of her relatives. I want you to stop speaking about her like that.
Oh, I don't want to, Harold, but please, consider my position. Anyone would get upset after being treated as horribly as I have. I've been nothing but the doting mother-in-law to that woman.
Horrible treatment?
That's right. Horrible, just horrible. We may be living in a two-family house, but I always made great pains to ensure Michaela was as happy and comfortable as possible. I just don't know what more I can do. To think, this is how she repays my kindness and generosity. Surely you don't want a wife like this. Oh, that's right. I bet you feel as betrayed as I do. You're going to divorce her, aren't you, son? Please hurry up and divorce her and sue her for compensation while you're at it.
Listen up, Mom. I want you to think carefully. Who do you think the house belongs to?
Huh? Who it belongs to? You, of course.
Wrong.
Well, then your father?
Wrong.
What? Well, then whose is it?
Michaela's sister.
What? This house belongs to Michaela's sister?
That's right.
But wait a second. Come on, Harold. Do you really think that this is the time to be making jokes? Stop it. You can't seriously be claiming an orphan from a family of peasants would have the money to build a two-family detached house like this.
Who are the peasants?
Michaela and her sister, obviously.
Did I not tell you before? Michaela's sister's the CEO of the company I work for.
CEO?
The land that house was built on was originally where her dad's family home was built. Her sister inherited it, and now she manages everything.
Really?
I'm pretty sure I explained all of this to you while the house was being built. Maybe you forgot this too.
What? Forget about what?
The reason Michaela's sister had a two-family house built on the land she inherited.
The reason?
It was originally intended to be a two-family house for both me and Michaela, and Michaela's sister and her fiancé to live in.
What?
But when her sister's fiancé's company gave him an overseas assignment, the wedding ended up getting delayed. So me and Michaela moved in first, and her sister decided to delay her moving in until the fiancé got back. But for some strange reason, upon realizing one side of the house was empty, you took it upon yourself to move in using my dad's reassignment to a rural company branch as your excuse.
But...
When I reluctantly approached Michaela's sister to discuss the matter, she very kindly said you could live there temporarily until her and her husband got married and moved in. You see, it's not your house, and you were only ever supposed to be there for a short while.
I don't know anything about this.
Me and Michaela's sister explained the situation to you in minute detail. We literally could not have made it any clearer. Do you have no recollection of that? Dad knows about it too.
Huh? Oh, you mean that thing we spoke about that time?
Do you remember now?
I just chalked it down to Michaela being opposed to the idea of living next door to her mother-in-law and making up convenient lies to hide her selfishness.
What?
When the conversation was over, I just assumed she must have agreed reluctantly. I thought you'd end up winning her over, so I didn't think anything else of it.
How the hell does your mind work? I've heard of false memories before, but this just takes the biscuit.
But I...
Anyway, upon hearing about your tendency to act like a ruthless dictator when no one else was around, the real owner of the house, Michaela's sister, was absolutely livid.
Livid? Don't over-exaggerate.
It would be weird if she didn't get mad over her pregnant little sister being bullied by her mother-in-law, don't you think? That's why you're the one who needs to get out of the house.
Son, you don't mean that.
Oh, yes, I do. Which is why, Mother, you'll be going to stay with Dad in the company apartment he was given for his assignment at the company branch.
What?
That's why your things are currently being carried out onto the street.
Wait a second, that's going too far. Make it stop!
The worst thing is, I say Dad's on an assignment at a rural branch, but in reality, he was told it was more like a permanent transfer that would most likely last until retirement, since you couldn't bear to leave your comfort zone and wanted to stay in the home and neighborhood in which you feel so comfortable pushing people around instead of going and living with your husband. You decided to come and bother us instead. I hope you know that since his position there is more or less permanent, you'll probably be living there until old age.
No, I told you, I can't! I don't want to leave this house, I like it here!
I thought you'd say that, but it's already too late. Just be grateful you have somewhere to go.
No, please!
Bye, Mom.
Fortunately, I had a lot of people helping me out through all of this. Of course, I'm grateful to my husband and sister, but there's also my other relatives, and particularly Harold's dad, who immediately decided to take my mother-in-law in when Harold told him about what had been going on. I heard that my in-laws would be moving into a room in an apartment block provided by Harold's dad's company. My husband calls my mother-in-law a lion at home and a mouse abroad. According to his dad, the reason she bullied me was because she had too much free time on her hands and had nothing else to do. He said that's why he thought her living with him in the company-assigned apartment would do her good. Later on, I successfully delivered a healthy baby boy. Me and Harold also finally started living together with my sister and her husband after they got married, and they're super helpful when it comes to looking after our son. Now we're all living happily and comfortably in a stress-free environment.
Well, bro, I'm sorry to say it. I really never thought this day would finally come, but here we are. We've had a good run, but I'm afraid this is goodbye forever. I never want to hear from you again.
Wait, what? I know we don't text that often, but what is this all about?
I mean that I got married, and I'm cutting you out of my life, Ricardo.
Pablo, is everything okay?
What's that supposed to mean, huh?
You mean that ever since you graduated from med school and started working as a doctor, You've been acting different. It just feels like you keep trying to go from one goal to another ever since then.
What does that even mean?
I mean, like just now, for example. We live in the same house and you just dropped the news on your big brother that you got married? I don't get it. I feel like there are things that you aren't telling me. Other than the obvious big things.
Just why should I have to tell you every little detail about my life, huh? You know what your problem is? You dropped out of high school just so that you could start working early. The fact is that there are so many things that you don't know, and I don't have time to teach them to you.
If you're upset with me, that's fine, but I just want you to tell me what's going on with you. Please, can't we just talk?
Fine. You want an explanation? Here's what's going on. I'm now married to the daughter of the director of the hospital that I'm working at.
Wow, well that's pretty impressive. I mean, doesn't that guy come from a long line of doctors?
You mean you know about my hospital director?
I mean, that family has basically ran that hospital for as long as I can remember. They're a pretty famous bunch.
Well, good. Then this will make it easier to explain. Yes, I am married to the daughter of that famous doctor, and that basically means that I'm guaranteed to be the next director.
Are you sure about that? I thought that you were still doing some kind of residency or something, right?
And so what if I am?
Look, I really don't know about how all this medical stuff works, but I would just be careful about going around half-cocked declaring yourself the next hospital director.
So basically, you're jealous? Is that what's going on? You have no idea how things work in my field.
I really don't, but I'm just trying to give you some brotherly advice.
How about you just stick to the things you do know about? Got it? I'm the only one of us who's a doctor. And the fact of the matter is so many people from my graduating class came from wealthy families. But this girl, she is my ticket to glory. First, I need to cut you off so nothing is holding me back.
Can you even prove yourself as a doctor among a whole family of doctors?
Well, not everyone is a doctor. My new wife is just a receptionist, but even she went to college.
And is that all that matters to you? What the last level of education someone got was?
Just can it already, would you? Look, I need you to move out of the house.
And just why would I do something like that?
Because my wife wants to move into our place, since it's closer to the hospital than where she is right now. But I can't let her know the embarrassing truth.
And just what would this embarrassing truth be, I wonder?
Well, it's the fact that I have some sweaty, smelly, blue-collar older brother, of course. If she knew the type of people that I came from, there's no way she would ever let me into her world of wealth and power. I know that your job barely even pays you, but surely you can afford some kind of crappy little apartment for yourself, right?
You know, I've been working a long, long time. Maybe you've forgotten, but I was one who paid for you to go to medical school. I think that I can afford an apartment for myself.
Well, good. Then get out already. I told you to pack up your bags and leave. And I meant it.
Are you sure about this? You really want me to go? This is your last chance to change your mind if you're not sure.
Of course I do. If you stay any longer, it'll just be that harder to air your stink out of the house.
Well, okay, if you're sure about this. I guess I'll go then.
And don't ever come back, you bottom feeder.
Hey there, Kathy. I'm really sorry to be telling you all of this so late, but I moved out of my house.
Wait, what? What happened?
Well, last night I slept in a motel, but I'm gonna be moving my stuff into a new apartment where I'll live from now on.
Ricardo, tell me what happened. Is everything okay? I thought that you were worried about your sick mom, and that's why you stayed in your old house for so long. I mean, for all these years, ever since your dad died. You dropped out of high school and have been working to support your whole family. How did all of this happen?
I know it's a lot to take in, but I talked to my mom and have moved out for now. I think once things settle down, I'll try and take her with me too.
But can't you just tell me what happened?
Well, to make a long story short, my brother wants to cut me out of his life and pretend that I don't exist so that he can try to curry favor with his new wife's family, who are a bunch of rich, famous doctors, and he thinks that I'll ruin his chances of that. Yeah, I think I summed it up pretty nicely, actually.
Wait, What? What kind of crazy soap opera is your life ripped out of? That's crazy! Your brother married into a bunch of doctors?
That's right. In fact, he actually married your cousin, Erin.
Wait a second. I only heard that Aaron got married a couple nights ago, but I had no idea that it was to your little brother.
So it sounds like even your side of the family hasn't heard much about any of this, huh?
Maybe they were planning to make the big announcement at our family reunion next month? But wait, I thought that Aaron was dating some guy who worked at the pharmaceutical company she works for.
Oh, really? I have no idea.
Well, I remember that about 2 months ago, she brought a guy home and said that he was her boyfriend. They were even already talking about getting married.
Well, something must be going on then.
I mean, I wasn't actually there to meet him, but I remember she told me that he was a coworker. And your brother is a doctor. I guess that she must have been running around on someone.
It must have been this coworker guy, since Pablo and her seem to be married.
I don't know. I still feel like something is off here.
Well, I can certainly see Pablo doing something sneaky like this, but what about Aaron?
Oh, I don't know. Erin has always seemed like a rather serious and reasonable girl. But changing who she was going to marry and then getting married so quickly just doesn't seem like her.
Well then, how did she and my brother end up getting married? If your cousin really is the type of person that you think she is, then I can't see why she would get with someone like my brother.
You know, now that you say that, I haven't actually been able to get a hold of Erin for the past month or so. I even sent her a message congratulating her on her wedding, but she hasn't even opened it.
Something is for sure going on then.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I think I'm going to try and get to the bottom of it.
Well, good luck and be safe. If you need any help or anything like that, just let me know.
Of course! Thanks for talking to me about this. I really appreciate it. I will let you know about any developments. Okay? Ricardo, are you there? You're not gonna believe this, but I finally heard back from Erin.
Oh, really? What did she say?
Well, apparently, my uncle and Pablo are away on a conference right now. And it was her only chance she had to talk to me.
But what did she tell you?
Well, between what I found out on my own and what Erin told me, things are pretty bad. But I think that I'm going to need your help. So maybe it would be better to talk about this in person? You aren't working today, right? Maybe I could bring Erin and the three of us could talk together. Could we all head over to your place?
Yeah, sure, no problem. Just let me know when you guys are at the front door and I'll let you in.
Hey, Ricardo. Thanks again so much for today.
Don't thank me. I'm so sorry for what Pablo did. I can't believe he would go that far just to marry Erin the way he did. We need to move fast and try and save her as soon as we can.
I'm so happy you feel that way. Yes. We are going to do this.
Hey, Ricardo. Do you have any idea where Mom is right now?
Oh, Pablo. I thought you said you never wanted to speak to me again.
Just shut up and tell me where Mom is right now.
Well, she's here with me, actually.
What? Why is she with you? What's going on here, huh?
You know, I've been paying for the majority of all three of our expenses for years now. So when I left the house, I knew there was no way that I could just leave Mom there with you. Especially when she makes so little for herself from her job.
What are you talking about? Sure, you may have helped me out a little when I was going to school, but I've never taken anything from you now that I'm a doctor.
Are you kidding me, right? You think I'm gonna take that from the guy who has never contributed more than around $200 a month to expenses?
What's wrong with that? That's plenty of money.
Do you realize that every month we have to pay about $850 to live at that house? $200 isn't nearly enough for anything!
What are you even talking about? What's your point?
I mean that at the end of the month, that house needs to be empty.
What is that supposed to mean?
I mean that we were renting that place under my name, but now that I'm gone, I've canceled the lease on the place. And Mom said that she wanted to come and live with me. If you want to move into a place with your new wife, you're gonna have to find one on your own.
Wait, just hold on for a second. I need to think.
Think about what?
Well, I think that Aaron and I are going to get a divorce soon, and I think that I'm going to have to quit my job at the hospital.
Huh? Things are moving way faster than I expected.
What do you mean by that?
But I guess I shouldn't have expected anything less from my girl.
Ricardo, what are you talking about? What is this?
Did you know that one of the relatives of your mother-in-law has hired a private investigator to look into you?
Excuse me, what?
I said what I said. And he found out all about the hospital director's affair with that young nurse. Or should I say nurses. But so did you. And you used that information to try and blackmail your boss and force him to let you marry his daughter. But before you could do that, you also had to make sure that she broke up with her fiancé. The real man that she wanted to marry, who worked with her.
But I don't get... How did you find this out? Unless... that girl you mentioned earlier. Are you calling her the detective, her? You mean that you had a mole inside the family and were watching me this whole time? What's the matter with you? You're my brother.
I do not want to be called your brother anymore.
What do you mean by that?
I mean that yesterday, Aaron's parents got a divorce because of your father-in-law's affairs.
Wait, they did?
That's right. All because we let a little info leak.
How could you do that? How could you ruin my plan?
Don't ask me, ask my girl. She's the one who said that she wanted to bring all of this to light and let the cards fall where they may. Even if that means letting you and your uncle fall in order to save her cousin. So now your father-in-law is going to step down as hospital director, and soon your wife is going to leave you.
But where do you live right now?
What do you mean?
I mean that I'm out of a job, and I might lose my license, and I'm going to get divorced, and you need to help me.
You got yourself into this mess. You get yourself out.
Please, I need you right now, bro. You can't just leave me hanging like this. I need your help right now.
Don't call me bro. You and I are not brother anymore.
Please, don't be like that.
I've had enough out of you. You're the one who wanted to shut me out of your life in the first place.
What do you mean? You know that I wasn't really serious about any of that, right?
I mean that I'm only giving you what you wanted from me. So we are not family anymore.
Ricardo, please.
After that, I heard that the reason Pablo was fired was because he was always showing up late. Always harassing the female nurses and would try to wave everything away by saying he was next in line to run things. After his divorce with Aaron, she sued him for emotional distress and won. Pablo had very little in the ways of saving since he always enjoyed spending money, and with his reputation ruined, he left the state. About a year later, I heard from a college on a business trip that he thought he saw someone who might be my brother. But I didn't bother to look into it. Instead, Kathy, my mom, and I are all living happily together.